That's amazing. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to our ongoing adventure. We discussed three frameworks in which we're motivated to grow, motivated to change. The first framework was the natural framework, and that is pain. So that pain can be felt in our knees, the left knee, or the neck, and that physical pain, yeah, Rob Cook suggested, is not necessarily caused by arthritis. It can manifest itself in arthritis, but that arthritis itself is brought about by, not making a specific suggestion, but some type of misalignment, a spiritual misalignment. And it can also be emotional, psychological pain, depression, anxiety, etc. And that pain also as a result of spiritual misalignment. The next category is we're motivated because we're concerned about doing what it says in Shulchan Aruch. We want to be from Jews. It says in Shulchan Aruch, do this, don't do that. And that motivates us to do the right thing. That's what he called teshuvah emunit, right? Faith-based teshuvah. Obviously, you have to have a certain amount of belief and faith to be motivated to change and grow as a result of what it says in the good books. Okay? The third level is what we're starting today, is called teshuvah sichlit, which we would translate as intellectual teshuvah, but as we mentioned at the very end of last time, what that word sichlit, intellectual, means for Rav Kook and what it may mean for us, it could be very different things. That's why you need to have a tradition as to what Rav Kook meant by that term. And so let's read the words of Rav Kook, and then we'll try to figure out what he means. Okay. Rav Kook says the following: Atshuva hasichlit hi ota shekvar rachashala tativit ve'emunit. The tshuva, which is called tshuva sichlit or intellectual tshuva, you'll see why he calls it intellectual tshuva in a second. It's not what you think. It's not like we all have PhDs and sit around and that's how we get. So it motivates us to change. He says it's actually gradual. There are sort of layers of motivation. Pain is a very fundamental motivation for change. We'll call that sort of the basic infrastructure. I mean, we all know when we've made changes in our life, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's motivated by pain. You know, a lot of times when people change and they feel pain, they change, and then when the pain goes away, they revert to previous behavior. We all experience that things differently. But most of us on a more primitive level know that once the dissatisfaction, the pain goes away, then we revert to our old-fashioned ways. Okay. The second level, which is slightly more abstract, right? It's I'm going to change because it says in Shulchan Aruch, not speak lashon hara, not gossip. So that's a little more sophisticated, more abstract. Right? It says to do this or do not do that. That's pretty amazing, actually. That's amazing to contour one's behavior in a certain way because it says in the Code of Jewish Law to not gossip. That's pretty impressive. Third level, which really is only after you've accomplished the first two levels, it says, generally speaking. Sometimes things don't go in an order like that, but this is sort of the general order, is only after you've accomplished the first two levels. Shekvar ba'al madriga yona, that he's already come to this level. Shelo rak tsar gufani is not just the pain on a bodily level in your left knee, or nafshi v'ruchani, or psychological pain. Lo rak hashpatim b'sort v'kabbalah, not just because one is being motivated by, it says in Jewish tradition, to do X or Y. Imi pachadonish roshim kol davar chokum mishpat haba mehen el pnima nefesh, right? That second level, not because of If you don't do what it says in Shulchan Aruch, you might get struck down by lightning, which we actually do believe sooner or later. Right? It's not a primitive belief. That's true. There are consequences. Okay? That's that second level. So what is this third level, which is called Tshuva Sichli? It's when one has a very clear recognition, understanding. That's why it's called Tshuva Sichli, intellectual. It's because it comes out of a knowledge. A knowledge which is extremely broad, that a knowledge which arises after the role of the physical misalignment and the religious, legal, that's a hyphenated term, right? Shulchan Aruch level have impacted one's soul, and then one comes to a third level. This third level. So that's a little terse. Like, what did he mean? I want to explain what he means by this. Okay, this truth. You may have heard of a term that the Talmud uses to describe two levels of teshuvah. Teshuvah miyirah, teshuvah me'ahava. Teshuvah, change, growth, which is motivated by fear. That's called teshuvah me'yirah. Versus teshuvah me'ahava, teshuvah out of love. This teshuvah sichli is Rav Kook's term for teshuvah out of love. Now, in order to understand better what he means by this, I'd like to share with you how the Rambam, the great Rambam, describes what is teshuvah me'ahava, teshuvah out of love. Not what you think. So the Rambam says in Hilchot Teshuvah the following: Al Yomar Adam, a person shouldn't say, you don't have this in front of you. Reading from the Rambam. So for those of you who want to look this up, so this is in the 10th chapter of the Laws of Teshuvah of the Rambam in his Mishneh Torah. A person shouldn't say, maybe I'll just really translate instead of read, just make up time. A person shouldn't say, you know, I'm going to do the mitzvah of the Torah, and I'm going to engage in its wisdom in order that I want to get all the benefits, all the blessings, or to get to Chai Olam Haba, the life of the world to come. You know, I want the benefits, want the blessings. Or I'm going to not do any of the transgressions in the Torah because I don't want any of the curses. That's not the fullest level of religious maturity. Or I don't want to be cut off from the world to come. Okay. That's actually the second level that Rav Kook just described, right? You're motivated by Shulchan Aruch, right? It says in Shulchan Aruch to do something or not to do something, and you do it because it says in the book, and I want to be a law-abiding citizen. You know why I come to a complete halt at a red light in Sacramento? Even though it's ridiculous. If we're taking a right turn, God forbid to go through it. It's because I once didn't come to a complete halt. And my picture was taken. And I had to pay. You know how much money they wanted from me? Because they didn't pay it right away. This is a magic number. $770. I am not joking. $770.
That's a small bit of, like, divine.
Beautiful.
Even that little picture is going to be in front of you, you're going to be embarrassed.
Right. It reminds us, right? It's a metaphor. Life is a metaphor for a spiritual reality. We're always getting our picture taken, right? So that's that second level. That's called Tshuva Emunit, right? So I'm very careful about making a complete stop before I turn right. Okay. He looks so disappointed in me over there. You know, like, that's the only reason he comes to a complete stop. You know? Okay, it is actually. Because I look to my left, I see there's no traffic coming this way. Sunday morning, there's no... So, like, I slowed down. It used to be called, there's a California stop. We used to be like,
Except on Monroe and Farrell. You can't even turn right there.
wow, okay. So, in any case, that's the second level. So, the Rambam continues. Someone serves Hashem because their picture's being taken, is serving Hashem out of yirah, out of fear. This is not the level of the prophets. This is not the level of the sages, our holy sages, right? The Pharisees, they are holy sages, right? So they don't serve God for this motivation alone. Only simple people who haven't reached a higher level of understanding, right? So what's the level we're trying to achieve, the highest level? So that is the level of love. Someone who serves Hashem out of love, who involves himself in Torah and mitzvot, walks in the paths of wisdom. This is all a paraphrase of the Rambam here, I'm translating. Not because of anything in the world, any consideration, not because of being afraid of something that's going to happen, or not in order to get some prize. Ella, and I'm quoting, Oseh ha'amet b'nei shu amet. He does the truth because it's the truth. B'sof hadavar lavo b'glala, tova lavo libla. Good will come of it. That's not the reason we're doing it. It's not a rejection of the notion of reward and punishment. We believe in reward and punishment. That's not the motivator. Motivator is, this is something you can put on your refrigerator there, one of those phrases. You can memorize this in Hebrew. Oseh ha'amet b'nei shehu emet. Do the truth because it's the truth. That's what Rav Kook is referring to in this level of tshuva sichlit, of intellectual tshuva. And the Rambam goes on, this level is extremely high. Not every person can achieve this. Now he describes what this is like. What does it feel like to be on this level? You ready for this? Let's put this in your pipe and smoke it. Maybe that's not a good, or where that expression comes from.
Put a new case and walk with it.
You got it. The Ketzad Hi'ava Ruya. This again, I'm just paraphrasing the Rambam. You don't have this in front of you. What is this like? This kind of third level of motivating oneself. It's a person who loves Hashem so much, so powerfully, that his soul, his personality, is totally bound up with the love of God. So that the person is thinking about God always, about feeling that love always. Ki'ilu choli ava, like lovesick. Imagine some silly teenage girl lovesick. Was that a sexist thing to say? She fell in love with her seventh grade teacher. What was that movie called a long time ago? To Sir with Love. To Sir with Love. God bless you. No one else knows what we're talking about, but it's okay. When you study ancient history, you'll learn about that. Imagine this swooning state of love. Imagine, and he does use the male here, imagine a man who's so in love with a woman, who shogeh b'tamid, he's always thinking about her. When he gets up, he's thinking about her. When he sits down, he's thinking about her. He's thinking about her when he eats. He's thinking about her when he drinks. Wow. Is it Valentine's Day? God forbid. Even more than that is love of God. That love in the heart of those who are Shogin ba tamid, dwelling in that love of God always. How do you do that? How do you accomplish that? And the Rambam goes on to explain. Eino Oheva Kadosh Baruch Hu Ela B'dat Sheyidaehu. This can only be accomplished through the knowledge of God that He knows Him. You know that expression, to know you is to love you? I feel that way about everybody in this room. I don't know about the people out there, but to know you is to love you. It's true, right? What goes on in the world that masquerades for love really is, what can you do for me? What do I get out of this relationship? That's not what love of God is about. This highest level of tshuva sichlit. The reason it's called tshuva sichlit, intellectual love of God, is because it's a love which is a product of the fact that I got to know you. And from knowing you, it just happened. I fell in love because you're so special. That's why it's called tshuva sichlit. It comes through knowing God. Now, how do you know God? There's only really one way. What we're doing now, learning Torah. That's why learning Torah is the central religious experience of the Jews. Because that's how we get to know God. And by learning Torah, when we get to know God, we then fall in love. We fall so madly in love, we can't think of anything else. When we get up, when we lie down, when we eat, when we drink, what does this remind you of? Those phrases? That's V'ahavta Hashem Elokecha. You should love the Lord your God. You know that we're about to say that in just a few minutes. You know what that's describing? Being lovesick. The Rambam's term, being lovesick for God as a function of knowing God. And that motivates us to grow and change constantly. And we know that from a healthy relationship in this world between two human beings. There are people, I hope, that we're all blessed with having some type of relationship. It could be a parent-child relationship, it could be a spousal relationship, or other friends that, you know why I love you? Because I know you. And the more you know the person, the more you love them. And that love motivates and necessitates change of behavior. You know, I know how much my wife would appreciate it if she came home and there are no dishes in the sink. And it's not only because she'll beat me if there are dishes in the sink. That could be a factor. That's the second level, right? That's tshuva emunit, reward and punishment. It's because I love her so much that I want to do that which is going to make her happy. You hear that, Donna? There's some truth to this. I'm not just making this up. Okay. We'll pause here, and in that state of love for God and Donna, we will continue next week.
That's right. Today's it.
That's it.
Good week.